people probably think I'm just walking around with a camera. This is perfect for documentaries when you don't really want to be noticed. You don't want to be that guy with the big camera.
What do they say?
Oh, it makes me feel sad that people are mean like that. This video is not sponsored by Canon. That means I can say whatever the freak I want about this thing. However, this video is sponsored by Storyblocks. Storyblocks reached out to us and wanted to give us access to their service, but we've already been subscribed to the service for years. Storyblocks is like a toolbox that a filmmaker should always have access to. They have an ever-growing library of over 1 million high-quality stock assets. Stay on budget while telling the best version of your story with the most affordable subscription plans and tools on the market that scale to meet your needs. Lately, because of COVID, we actually haven't been able to film everything we want. That's why we've been using more stock footage than ever before. Using stock footage and stock graphics is a necessity for every filmmaker. Storyblocks Unlimited All Access Plan gives you unlimited downloads of everything in their library. So click on the Storyblocks link in the description to see what Storyblocks has to offer for you. There are so many features that we love about this camera. Built-in NDs, autofocus, but there's also some major issues that I think Canon's gonna have to fix before more people buy this.
I know sometimes I can be a catastrophist, but fear-mongering aside, let's talk about these built-in NDs and how useful they can be.
This camera has built-in NDs, and it's amazing that they were able to accomplish that because the body is so small. All the way to 10 stops of built-in ND. And when I'm filming in this direction, right now I'm at a f2.8 and I have 6 stops of ND. But when I come over here to film these ducks, they're in the shade. And so all I have to do is take off my ND. I can get my exposure really quick that way and maintain a proper shutter speed. Something I'm not used to is using autofocus. I'm always a manual focus kind of guy, but this autofocus is so fast. As soon as I find my shot, it's working every time. It's like I don't even have to worry about pulling focus. It just kind of knows where I want to put it. Let's talk about this lens. This is the Canon RF 24-70 2.8 IS. Now, normally we always use the 24-70 EF from Canon. That's a 2.8, but it does not have IS. This one does, and this one has another hidden feature. There's 3 rings. There's the zoom ring, the focus ring, and on the front, there's this assignable digital ring. You can make this ring do pretty much anything you want. Right now, it's controlling iris. It works seamlessly with the autofocus in this camera. I think this 24-70 on the C70 is an incredible pair.
And for $2,300, it should be. Next, we decided to take the C70 to downtown Phoenix to see what kind of shots we could get in an urban environment.
These guys are skateboarding here, so I'm gonna try to get some shots here. 60 frames a second. This will definitely put the autofocus to test on this camera.
These fellas sure seem to like this statue, but my camera did not like filming a masked skateboarder. Try as I might, the autofocus just wouldn't work in this situation. Next, we decided to do some more autofocus tests.
Did it keep my face the whole time?
About halfway there, got your
Yeah,
face.
man. It probably works better when you're wider. The wider you go, I mean, it's just gonna keep that
Look at this,
focus.
I can move everywhere.
Yeah, you can move everywhere when you're wide. It's when you go into those closer focal lengths, that's when it gets tough. Ooh, let's do this quick test. I'm gonna turn the camera off. The camera is off right now. We're gonna see how long it takes to power up. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 2 seconds. Wow, that is fast.
Canon claims that the C70 has over 16 stops of dynamic range. The sensor produces 2 separate images at different amplification levels to increase details in both the shadows and highlights.
I'm going to try to expose for the highlights, and we'll see what we can recover in post. Now I'm going to expose for the shadows and see if we can retain those highlights.
Looks like we're still clipping that sky. Even with 16 stops, you still might want to be careful with your camera's exposure.
I've got this in 4096 by 2160 intra frame. The max recording I can do is XF AVC YCC 422 10-bit. But in that mode, I can't even do 60 frames a second. So you're gonna use that for narrative work, 24 frames a second filming. As soon as you wanna film in 60 frames a second, you're going to MP4 HEVC YCC 422 10-bit. Between these two modes, we haven't really noticed much of a difference. They're really high quality. That 10-bit is getting us that color we need. I've had some issues in the past with 8-bit cameras where when we try to color correct the footage, it starts breaking up. But this is double that color information. It's almost like RAW. You can film in the wrong white balance and recover pretty adequately.
Let's talk about this camera's slow motion capabilities. This camera can record up to 120 frames a second at 4K. And if you're willing to go down to HD quality, you can get up to 180 frames a second.
There are filmmakers like Gerald Undone who are very technical. They know their stuff and they don't have a hard time dealing with menus and camera systems. Well, I'm not like that. For me, when I'm using a camera, it's all about the creative experience. Can I get into that creative zone when I'm using a new piece of equipment? Now, this is a video camera. It's doing so many complicated things and they want to give you that control. I understand that. But when I open up this menu, page after page, so many controls, and it's starting to get overwhelming to think, wow, if I get one of these wrong, I could ruin the shoot. So I am happy, however, that Canon has included a nice little dummy-proof menu system.
The most important settings are right here, touchscreen. Usually when you're busy filming, these will be the parts of the menu you are using most.
Thank you, Canon, for doing this for me because usually your menus are way too complicated for someone like me.
Fortunately, Canon has included 2 mini XLR inputs with phantom power. If you want to use a regular XLR connector, you'll need to get one of these nifty adapters like we did. Now, I'm not smart enough to offer any better solution, but I'm just going to say that I'm tired of these rubber flappy things. They always seem to be in my way.
Something that I love about this camera is all of the switches and buttons, and behind this screen are the audio controls. Now, here's the problem. When we got this camera, everything was working great. But the first day we were using it in classic Epic Light Media fashion, the screen broke. So, check this out. We try to rotate the screen and close it this way, it goes dark. That is not supposed to happen. Also, when I try to do selfie mode, the screen does not rotate properly. We don't know how that happened. We've gone through the menus a million times. James, you swore you heard a crunch sound when you were moving the screen around. Something wrong happened. So as of right now, we can't use the camera like this. We have to have it out. We have seen other users have the same problem where the screen stops working. Canon really probably has some work to do on this screen. It's a bit too fragile, and quite a few people are saying that it has been breaking on them, unfortunately.
No Epic Light Media video would be complete without Lynn, so we had her stand here in the backyard with an ultra bounce and some diffusion, so you can see how this camera handles skin tones.
This camera is perfect for people on the go, documentarians, content creators, YouTubers. Canon has really made an interesting camera here because this could be, at a $5,500 price point, the first cinema camera somebody buys. Or if somebody's shooting with the C500 or C300 Mark II, they could use this as a B or C camera. So this really is appealing to a wide market. And for the first time in a long time, I'm very happy with what Canon has done with this. Ooh, one more thing. They've included this fun little thing for social media. They attach the tripod there and they film that way. And they even have menu controls where you can change the menu so it'll be vertical menu as well.
If you enjoyed this video, please don't subscribe. We already have enough subscribers.